Honorees. Greetings. Good morning. Wow, what a rousing, call to action, Maria. Thank you for that. We're going to be a little bit more staid and somber, okay? And we're going to be much more personal. So we are going to start out, and I will start out just by asking Sujuan a little bit about her origin story. So both of us have had some unusual paths to where we are today. So would you please tell the audience a little bit about yourself and how you ended up starting in China and then now running one of the most influential cancer research, nonprofits around?
Well, thank you, Cheryl. It's such an honor to be able to sit down with you, Pulitzer-winning journalist. And that's very unusual with me. I'm usually sitting down with the scientists, and biotech leaders. So it's a little bit out of my norm, but I'm going to try. Um, I'm just wanted to share my story. The bottom line is I have a very unconventional journey. I came to United States in 1986. So I started to date myself now. I got the scholarship from University of Pennsylvania chemistry department to pursue the PhD degree. And remember, back in 1986, China just opened up. Everybody was poor. The country was poor. So I had $30 with me and got on the Chinese plane and landed in JFK airport. 5 o'clock, and I thought I had to rush to get to TWA terminal. It turns out it was 8 o'clock flight next morning. So I have to spend the first night at the airport on the bench and being hungry, thirsty, and sleepy. So next morning, I wanted to go and buy something. And I went to this little deli or cafe around the corner. I remember I have to watch my two big suitcases that has books, chopsticks, knives, pillows, all the necessities I must have to start my life in Philadelphia. So I walked into this cafe and completely overwhelmed. And I thought, okay, I'm just gonna order a cup of coffee. So I thought coffee must be cheap because everybody in the United States drink a coffee. So I ordered a cup of coffee, and they said $2.10. I said, what? No, just one cup of coffee. And then she said, yes, $2.10. My brain was spinning. That's almost 10% of my total asset. And so I thought, okay, if I reject it, I'm going to lose faith. I'm going to lose faith of Chinese people. I'm going to lose faith of China. That can't be done, right? So I said, okay. And then the lady asked me, milk and sugar? I thought they're going to charge me more for milk and sugar. So I said, no, just black coffee. That's my first case in America. But I have come a long way. The lessons along my journey is, no matter how, deprived of what you have, and never give up. Always keep an open mind, exploring, and be brave, and have no fear. Along the journey, if you are sincere about pursuing what you want to do, be true to your heart, there will be people helping you along. And there will be moments you're going to have to make difficult decisions. But, those decisions usually are breakthroughs in your life. And I have seen that again and again with my own life and journey. And that's my
So,
story.
just to clarify, so you're saying $2.10 was 10% of your
Yes, $30 total. I just had $30 with me at that time because the country has a restrictive policy about taking money in dollars, and that's pretty, much all you can take with you.
Okay, well, actually, it would have been okay. You wouldn't have lost face if you just gave the coffee back. So.
But that's the burden we all carry, right? As a minority in the U.S., we always worry about what you represent not only yourself, right? You represent the whole race, whole nation, whole community.
So my story is much more banal because when I started in journalism, I remember thinking, well, this is an industry that I never thought I would actually be in. In fact, when I was a pre-med in college, and so I thought, why would anybody, go into journalism? But I happened to be assigned a history professor as my advisor. I went to Cornell; it's a large school, and so they didn't have enough advisors in the biology department. So my advisor, really started drawing me into history, saying, "Oh, you should be a history major. You could be a history major. You could be a pre-med history major." And then another professor said to me, "You should be a history major." And I said, "Well, what would I do with history?" And he says, "Oh, you could go into journalism." And I looked at him really puzzled. I said, "I don't even know what that profession is." I was so, far away from that. Well, lo and behold, a few years later, what did I end up going into? Journalism. So things just never turn out the way that you want it to turn out. Well, let me just tell you a little bit about my sort of ocean crossing journey when I went to China. Since you told yours, I'll tell mine because I think when I ended up in China, I realized that there are many different types of Chinese. When I first got there, Nick and I had just gone on our honeymoon. We just got married, and we flew directly to Beijing. And in Italy, we had our honeymoon in Italy, and I just bought this wonderful Italian leather jacket with these giant shoulders. Remember when the shoulder pads were really, really big things? And it was just gorgeous. It was like my dream jacket. And so I was wearing my jacket on the streets of Beijing, and there was all this pollution, but it kind of smelled like barbecue, So I thought, this is really wonderful. I'm walking, strutting down the street, on the main thoroughfare in Beijing. And there were these three Chinese toughs, also in leather jackets, but Chinese made leather jackets. And I was so proud I had an Italian leather jacket. And they're looking at me, and I'm looking at them. And they look at me and they say, 假洋鬼子. And I'm thinking, oh my God, what is this? That means fake foreign devil. So I'm not even a real foreign devil. I'm a fake foreign devil. They call, foreigners, white, big noses, foreign devils. So that was my first introduction to the wonderful Chinese.
And when I came here, people actually ask me, "Are you from white China or red China?" And they ask me whether, "Are you pinky?" I have no idea what it means. I said, "What do you mean? There's white China and red China. There is only one China." And so a lot of cultural differences. And one thing I always feel is don't feel too personal. If people call you 假洋鬼子, fake foreign devils, because they don't know much, they are curious. And when I came here, I got all kinds of names, right? People call me China doll. I didn't even know what that means. I thought, oh, that's weird. I'm not a doll, I'm a dog. um, I felt like in order for you to make a difference, instead of being overly sensitive about other people's opinion of you, just take the brunt of it and be strong and do whatever you think is right thing to do, and then eventually you earn people's the trust and the respect. And that was actually the advice I had at my first job. And I was hired as an unconventional chemistry job. I graduated from University of Pennsylvania, and I didn't really wanted to pursue the postdoc a career and academic job like my contemporaries did. I wanted to pursue something that bring the technology closer to applications to people's life. And of course, in that by doing that, I had to do a lot of cold calls. And imagine back then, 1991, I think, I just came out of graduate school, broken English. And when I called those people that I needed to reach to do my job, and oftentimes people hung up on me. And I get very distressed, and I couldn't do my job, and I get discouraged. So I talked to my boss, and then my boss said, "Sujuan, you have one tool that you did not use when you call people. And remember, people respect knowledge, and people respect intelligent people. So next time when you call, report when you first ring people up, don't say this is Sheryl Ba from Arco Chemical Company. Just say, this is Dr. Sujuan Ba. I like to talk with you, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, gosh, that's so showing. People don't really like to hear you throw the doctor in front of them, right? He said, just do it. I said, okay, I'll do it. And I was amazed. The response I had was quite different. It really opened my eyes, and I got good responses and good conversations with people, even though I didn't do much differently other than just announce myself, Dr. Sujuan Ba. I think that's a good lesson.
Right. So actually, that's perfect segue into the next section because I'd like to hear a little bit about the intersection that we both play in of capital, public goods, and biotechnology. I mean, this is a time where biotech is really under a siege. It's been a biotech winter. I work with companies in the biotech space and help them with their marketing and modeling and capital raising. And Sujuan, you are working with cancer and researchers, and you're immersed in the biotech space. But as you well know, right now we're facing enormous challenges 360 degrees around. So tell me, how is it that you're navigating some of these waters, and what is now the major challenge that you face?
Right now it's really peculiar and challenging field. Every single day, I hear from the scientists in academic world, their labs are at the risk of being closed. As a CEO of the National Foundation for Cancer Research, 52 years old public supported charity that provides seed funding to academic researchers. And it's really heartening to see that, because if we cut the research funding, especially at the basic science level, and we are risking not only just the research programs being stopped, we're risking next generation of scientists. We're risking about bringing cures to patients to save lives. And we are risking for losing the competitiveness in science. So right now it's more important for me to actually call for public support when federal government funding cuts, and we as the public sectors, charitable sectors, communities, who which played a critical role in driving early stage research and discovery, and driving the drugs across the valley of the death. We must do more in order to provide this critical lifeline to those innovative researchers and labs. Well, it's kind of interesting. On the one hand, it seems as though these companies have remarkable
innovations that could help cure cancer, can help do a lot of things. But you need the staying power because when you have the confluence of public policy that operates at its own speed, capital that also has its own pacing, and then innovation has its own pacing as well. It's really hard to have them all coincide. So in the case of, we were talking about this last night, in the case of Moderna, for instance, we all know Moderna that had the COVID vaccine, but it had been in existence for years in advance, trying to come up with RNA, solutions for cancer. And wasn't really getting anywhere, but it was like limping along, and finally COVID came and it was able to come up with a solution, and the company just blew out, exploded, did very, very well. And now it's kind of receded enormously because there's been an attack on the COVID vaccines. More recently, also, there is much less COVID, so its sales are lower. But you see, if you're waiting around long enough, then maybe you can actually succeed. But many, many companies, ones that have answers and solutions for treating all of us, cannot wait long enough. And that is the predicament that we are facing now at many universities, that are struggling to find ways to keep their labs open. As you know, I think that that's one of the biggest challenges that we face. So, is there any hope?
Oh, absolutely. I'm actually even more hopeful. And right now we are at a very exciting era in terms of science and medicine. And Sheryl just mentioned this Moderna, right, mRNA research. We developed the vaccines in just several months' time, but that was really built on the accumulation of the science development, technology development, like molecular sequencing profile for the genes. And now all the tools are available. It's even more important for us to work together, a global community, because not everybody has all the tools, and not every country has all the tools. Uh, Probably a lot of people didn't hear. The first the gene sequencing released for the COVID is from China. And they released it. I met Professor Gao, who was actually resisting the pressure and released the gene sequencing sequence of the COVID. So that just shows community working together. We can really speed up the medicine, the development of the medicine. We can overcome all the challenges. So diseases has no border and has no space for politics. For we need to work together, and with all the young people we see here, and lot of strong voices, I think we can make a difference and resist the barriers now.
One more question, if I may. I want to talk a little bit about the role that women play in this industry. So tell me how you see women making inroads in the biotech field.
Well, even though women scientists, women leaders have progressed quite a bit in the last decade, but the data is still showing that we have a long way to go. Even before the COVID, the women entrepreneurs in life sciences only get about 2 to 3% of venture funding. And now after the COVID, probably the data will be even worse. I haven't seen the new data, but I believe it hasn't changed or maybe getting even worse. So what we do as a nonprofit leaders, right, organization, we need to close those gaps. And we need to take the risk when private funding, the government agencies are not willing to do. So we have to make a point to create a community and provide a platform and provide access to women leaders and women entrepreneurs. So I actually created the Women Venture Competition 5 years ago. it's been wonderful. It's not only providing the investment, but the whole access community. So I welcome all of you to join to check us out.
Yeah, and I also think that it's really important if you feel that you have a skill in certain areas, then continue to pursue it, even in the face of, oh, there aren't that many women in this business. For instance, when I was I actually was the first Chinese American at the New York Times as a reporter, and so I mean, I didn't really think about it that way. I just sort of thought, okay, keep doing your job, keep doing your job, keep pushing ahead, and I think that's the right way to at least move forward, is to just trying to figure out, how do you make sure that you're doing the right thing for your job, and what it is that how can you expand your role, or push the envelope a little bit farther. So I would just encourage you to really keep that attitude. It's just to persevere, persistence, and try and build as much of the sort of wherewithal that you need and resources to move forward, and keep that confidence with you. So thanks very much.
I also wanted to add one line. I think we women not only need to help each other, and we should lift each other, right? So the sentence I want to leave with you is, um, lead with courage, and lift others while you rise, and define what's possible for those who can follow you, and that's what make a difference for women communities. So I always believe in I benefited from so many people helping me along my journey here, and we all need to pass on. So, and that's what we need to do.
Well, the one time I will quote Mao Zedong is, women hold up half the sky. So remember that. Thank you very much.